Let's begin with a drum set. Listen for an explosive live sound. The snare should be crisp and the cymbals should ring.
I admire you when my living has a limit of desire to keep it going. I'm just knowing that my time with you makes a difference. How I'm feeling when I vibe with you. They can't divide us two. We got a bond like 007, right? Even on Devil's Night, you show me what the heavens like. Go ahead and spread your light, though I can barely see. I know you're there with me, my personal therapy. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. Yeah, I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. You inspire me. Look at you crazy when you tell me you admire me. Not an example for anybody to try to be. We'll call you bluff, but I know you wouldn't lie to me. Just a surprise to me. We got a bond tight. No one can come between. I have respect for you. You have your love for me. And that's enough for me. All I need to get by. Let me be the method to your Mary J. Blige. So many times I felt defeated. You always know the right thing to say for when I need it. I wanna do the same thing for you to keep it even. You can call me anytime. You don't ever need a reason. I'm right here with you. Never could forget you. All the things that we've been through, everything we went through. Hey, none of it was simple, but I'm right here with you. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. Yeah, I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. You're tuning in to the first daily news podcast of the second largest city of Illinois, where we share real news, real people, real stories, 100% Aurora. Don't forget to please subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all of our content. There you can also watch all of our interviews and receive notifications when we go live. It is 8:04 and it's the 14th of December 14th. I'm saying it in Spanish because you're wondering, What is Monica doing on Good Morning Aurora? Why is she introducing us? Well, Curtis had a appointment today, so he is
Yes,
out.
indeed.
So it's me and Gabriel today. So good morning, y'all. How are y'all doing? Tell us how you're doing on the chat. Tell us what you're doing right now. If
Yeah,
you're going to work,
yes.
if you're at home, what breakfast you're eating, whatever. So how are you doing, Gabriel?
I'm doing great. It's it's the middle of the week, so we're kind of at that. It's right before, I like to call Thursday the pre-kend. I don't know if you've heard about that, but Thursday is like the pre-weekend, and
Okay.
so Wednesday is like the midweek. Is the mid-weekend kind of, and then we're getting closer to the weekend. So very excited for that. I have I'm almost done with my finals, so
Awesome.
I'm very excited about that. And yeah, it's just been a good week. We had a good start to the week on Monday, obviously, and now we're getting the work done, and it's exciting. We're missing Curtis.
Yes, we are
Yeah.
missing you, Curtis. So come back pretty soon. We did have some gremlins this morning with our Mevo,
Yes.
but hard work, and all that training that Curtis has given us really, really paid off this morning. But awesome.
Yeah.
It's 8:05, and good morning to all of you beautiful people that are tuning in this morning. Good morning, Britt Putten. Good morning, Aisha Saxon, Josie Mendoza, Saul Olivas, and good morning, Curtis. How are you? Tell us how you're doing today.
Yeah. Good morning, Curtis. We're missing you now.
Alrighty. So we have a lot of news for you guys. We have a lot of news about here, news that are happening here in Aurora, and that will be, affecting us for forever. And then the next year, the plans that, people have going on for next year and stuff like that. But before that, what are your plans for this weekend, Gabriel?
Oh, this weekend I am going to be relaxing. I think I have some plans with my family, but I don't remember what they are. So it's one of those things where like you start the week strong and you know exactly what you're doing this week, and then it's the middle of the week and I kind of forgot what my plans were. But no, I'm just gonna relax and have a just enjoyable weekend. How about you, Monica?
Oh, well, we have some exciting events happening this weekend, so tune in for that. It's going to be really fun with our friends of the Roller 88. So, Aurora 88, Aurora 88. So, tune in for that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the is that the roller derby group?
Yes.
I think they are they at the Aurora Skate Center, if I remember.
I think so.
Okay, that's so cool. Are we doing an event with them or tell
I
us
think
about that?
we're going to be there, but when Good Morning Aurora
Oh.
shows up, you never know what might happen. So,
Well,
tune in for that.
Tune in for that.
Yes.
Are we going live? Are we getting
I don't know.
footage? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So stay tuned
Stay
for an exciting segment
Yeah.
with 88 Roller Derby. That's going to be really fun. I think that's Sunday the 18th, and it'll be Curtis and Monica. So it's
Do you know how to skate, Gabriel?
you know what? I actually grew up rollerblading.
Okay.
So I would do it. We'd go at least once a month to the Aurora Skate Center. So shout outs if you remember that. And it's still around actually. So never mind. I'm not that old. Okay, I just turned 18, so I feel old now. But yeah, so it's a great space and something I grew up going there. We like my whole entire family would go, and it was so much fun. Did you ever skate, Monica?
We did have a skate rink in my town as well, but I didn't really go. I think I went maybe once or maybe twice. It was a very counted times that I went during my high school period. But I
yeah,
didn't know how to.
Oh,
I still don't know how to.
oh well.
So,
Then
yeah.
you'll be learning.
Yeah, I still don't know how to. So I think that's why I would never go, because I just didn't know how to, and I didn't want to spend all of my time just falling down or yeah.
That's the thing about roller skating and ice skating. You have to fall down before you get up. And I know that sounds like, well, that's redundant, Gabriel. Like, isn't that how it works? But when I first started roller skating, and even when I first started learning how to ride my bike, it was all about falling. I would fall every single time. And the reason for that, though, is it taught me to be resilient. And so a lot of these sports, they're hard, but they teach you important lessons. So I'm saying, you know, anyone who wants to learn, yeah, it's never too late to learn. Let us know in the chat if you know how to roller skate or if you prefer ice skating. I'm just saying, I like ice skating.
Ice skating, yeah, I've tried that too, and it does not work for me. So. I just don't know how to, do all of that. But I learned how to ride a bike because a dog was chasing me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay, no, wait. We got to talk about this. What was going on?
Well, we have back in North Carolina, we don't have fences. Like in my neighborhood or whatever. Okay. And, well, it wasn't really chasing me, but it was because that neighbor had a fence. But it was still chasing me because I could see them. Like, it was, like, not a... It was, like, you know, those fences that you can see through.
Oh, yeah, like a see-through fence, where, like one of the chainmail fences, something like that. Okay.
And so I was, like, you know, just learning how to ride the bike with my dad, and we were, like, going close to that fence. And then the dog is just, like, barking at me, and I just flew. Because I'm scared of dogs. So I just flew. I learned how to ride a bike then.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So that must have been a very traumatic experience to learn how to ride a bike while you're being chased by a dog. Yes. I mean, I could only imagine. They have a big lab. So if anyone knows what those are like, they're big. They're So, I could not imagine being chased by that dog. And
I was young.
Learning. Yeah. How young were you?
I feel like I was around like the 10, 12-year-old. I was old.
Yeah.
But buenos dias, Casildo. He's telling us buenos dias, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. And good morning, Maria Charito. How are you guys doing? Let us know in the chat of what your plans are for this weekend, what events you guys are going to here in Aurora. Casildo just shared something with us. It says, please donate to this great cause. We prepare care packages for the homeless in Aurora and Chicago. The goal is 300 care packages, item list in the event page. And he shared that link with us. Thank you, Casildo. Great initiative that you guys are doing. But let's start off with the news because we have a lot of news, right, Gabriel?
Yeah, we do have a lot of news today. We're going to be talking a lot about we have a couple news articles. I think some are about mental health, and then the new Safety Act, which I believe is that coming out in January is when it starts.
It might be, but we're going to be saving this news for later. But before the Safety Act, we're going to detail some other local news that are happening. It's from the Beacon News. It's all hands on deck required to combat mental health crisis, which is such a huge topic right now, mental health.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and again, that's something that the Good Morning Aurora will be talking more about coming into the new year. I know that's something that we're very passionate about and focusing on. So
yes, and not only Good Morning Aurora, but a lot of organizations.
Absolutely, yes.
So it's important.
A lot of community organizations for that.
So Eric Ward, who is the executive director of the Family Counseling Services, sent out an email to mostly his friends and family, and it started off as an apology, and it was for financial reasons. He said, while this Aurora area nonprofit counseling agency might be doing okay financially during these tough times, our community, on the other hand, is not doing so well, and that's what Eric Ward said. People are seeking out mental health care more than ever before, he continued. In particular, the number of parents contacting us for help for their children and teens has skyrocketed. To the point, Family Counseling Service, for the first time, had to start a waiting list that continues to grow. At one point earlier this year, there were more than 380 people on that list, Ward told me, a figure that fluctuates but tends to run higher this time of year with kids back in school, emotional problems growing. And the only way to fix this unprecedented onslaught, he insisted, is to hire more therapists, social workers, case managers, and psychiatric medication providers. So
Wow.
already a waiting list, and that was only at the beginning of this year.
And what's crazy though is I don't think we are fully grasp how massive over 300 people on
That's
any
a
waiting
lot.
list is a lot, but especially for a business.
Mm-hmm.
I normally you want to be meeting the demand
Mm-hmm.
or just just there. So that's really interesting that they have such a long waiting list because most counselors can't do thousands of people or hundreds of people. I
Yeah.
mean that's a lot. So especially to provide people the services they need and keep it personalized, I think is really really important. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are experiencing these mental health issues. And I think it's a pandemic of mental health that it's something that we need to work on and solve and I think as a community, as businesses, there's definitely a big need for more services.
Definitely. And what you said, personalized. That waiting list, maybe let's say they have 20 counselors. Those 20 counselors cannot help that many people and still have that personalized, connection with those clients. So definitely there's a problem here. Because we're talking about mental health. And so what if you're the 200th person on the waiting list? Might it be too late once you get called?
I mean, does your mental health wait until you?
No.
So until people come in and like, okay, right now you're number one on the list. That's not how it works. So I think it's really important that we start addressing mental health problems and issues, and whether people learn their own coping skills for that, and that's something that, and not to say that people don't but I know that person, I go to therapy, but I also make sure when I can't go, I'll make sure that I do have my own coping skills. So whether that's practicing mindfulness, whether that's going for a walk, these are things that we can do even when we don't have therapy or a a caseworker there for us, and that's something that anyone can do in any time. So that's something that I think I definitely one of the solutions to such a major issue here, I think.
Yep. And Casildo says, unfortunately, the homeless are greatly affected and neglected in the area of mental health issues.
Yes, that's very true. I feel that especially with people who are housing insecure or even food insecure, that's something where the ability to receive these services is less is less to a degree, because based off of their financial ability to pay for some of these services, because
Exactly.
in some cases insurance won't cover, or some people who are housing insecure are also, their insurance isn't the best, so then they're not able to, so they have to pay for it out of pocket, which in a lot of cases, counselors are very expensive. And I'm very blessed to have, insurance that does pay for a therapist, and so it's not a financial burden for my family. But if it were, then I just want to be able to receive that counseling and stuff. So I think that's a very, very good point for mental health. And how do you feel about that?
Yeah, definitely. We need to really look at the bigger picture and just be inclusive with everybody, because everybody needs these resources of mental health. Everyone's going through stuff, and if you're unable to, go to a facility because of financially or whatever, I don't think that's fair. So
and I think that's something where there's definitely a lot of organizations that are trying to fill the gap or the need for increased mental health services for people who may not ordinarily be able to financially afford it. And that brings us to great great friends of the show, and NAMI. They're NAMI,
yeah.
NAMI DuPage. They're a great organization that does try to provide mental
And they
health
provide
services
like group sessions.
Yeah, they
so like
do,
group
focus groups.
activities, and I think that's very important because, I mean, I've gone to some of their events that they have, and it's like just a group setting where we're just talking. We're not even talking about like, you know, what we're going through. It's more of like we're just going there to get our mind off of whatever is going on and just having a good time. And then maybe along the way, yeah, we might share here and there, but it's not like, you know, it's a great, comfortable setting where you don't feel pressured to say anything or, you know, just blab about your issues. It's just going there. You don't know these people, but yet you almost feel like you're friends. So it's a great organization. So definitely check out NAMI DuPage, NAMI KDK.
Yep.
They're a great organization.
They're definitely great. And something that I know we've talked with them about is there's actually a waiting list for NAMI DuPage for their group sessions, and which I think is, you know, it's amazing that, you know, they're providing such a valuable service, and people are recognizing that value and trying to get on the waiting list. But I think it's also very telling that teens, and this is a group for teens. If I remember correctly, that's something that very specifically, there's a group that can be hard to reach in some cases, and I speak as one who is a teen. So it's very it's very telling that teens are signing up for this group, and I think especially here in Aurora and the surrounding community, there's a very defined need. What was your experience with mental health like growing up? Was that something that was more talked about then, or less talked about?
Definitely, we did not talk about mental health, and I think it was because I think something happened to my microphone. All right, still not on.
I think I can hear it.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I can't hear myself.
Really?
Is it my mic, my earphones?
Oh.
There we go.
There. Oh.
Yep,
Okay.
there we go.
No.
Sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties. You know how it is. All right.
We're flying the plane
The plane by ourselves.
without our host and founder Curtis.
Oh
So.
Lord. Okay. But yes, during my growing up or whatever during high school, we didn't talk about mental health because it wasn't as, I wouldn't say prominent, because I mean, looking back, a lot of us did have some type of like anxiety or depression, or we were just going through a lot. And now looking back, like at my friends and stuff, like what they were going through, like, you know, I'm not diagnosing them, but like we definitely needed some counseling, some, you know, some people to talk to and stuff like that. But I feel like it wasn't, I'm going to say this because, I mean, we're in this era where us young people are always on our phones, on social media. So mental health wasn't trending back then. Like it wasn't, we didn't see it on our phones. We didn't see call 988 for a free, phone line to call, or when we would talk about suicide prevention, we would be like, what? Like, we would be so just, I don't know, nonchalant or whatever. Like, we would just be so ignorant of what that was. And I feel like now, when the pandemic hit, I mean, we started seeing these, you know, mental health related issues come up and be more, seen
Yeah,
on the social
more
media
present,
with
yeah.
other people, like, I feel so isolated. I feel this and that. And that's when the conversation started picking up and started really, and now a lot of people were like, yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. And so it started to
Yeah.
become something. But when I was growing up, nothing. No.
Yeah, and I think this is important. It's really important to recognize, like, like I feel like it's a little more, we're more comfortable talking about it today than I think 10, even 5 years ago. I feel like it's more an open topic.
Yeah.
And something that I feel like there is still some stigma around mental health and having those conversations. But I feel less so today than like 5 years ago. I remember, when I was growing up, like there was certainly a lot of, like stuff where you just didn't really talk about it. And now, like today, we have so many services for people to talk about mental health. And I think it's really amazing that we have all these, and we're having conversations. And I feel more so today than we did even before the pandemic. I feel like even though it was still a very big issue leading up to the pandemic, I just feel like the pandemic shined a spotlight on something that was already been an issue for many years before that. So I think that's really important now that we're having these conversations and we're talking about it, we're putting the word out. And so I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and we're definitely lucky to live in the beautiful city of Aurora because we have so many great resources that, help with mental health, with the youth, with so many things here in Aurora. And looking back at where I'm from, Asheboro, North Carolina, I mean, growing up, even now, there are very limited resources that are provided. And, there was one kid that I went to high school with, and he fell into drug abuse. And because we didn't talk about those issues, there was no help. And he sadly, unfortunately, passed away.
Oh, no.
And so I think when that happened with this student that I went to high school with, I think that was also a point in our lives with like the people that I went to high school with, and even my town, Asheboro. It was like a turning point of like, wait a minute, we have a problem here. We need to do something. We need to talk to and conversate with students and just the whole community, and maybe even open up some resources that can potentially save a life.
Yeah, and that's where looking up these resources and making yourself aware of them is very important.
All right, but let's move on to our news because we have a lot of news, guys. All right. So unfortunately, we were talking about that the family counseling service needs more providers, therapists, social workers, case managers, but unfortunately, the startup cost of hiring, training, and orientation can get expensive, which is why the wards decided to create an online fundraiser to help reach the goal of adding 5 staff members. About 60% of new clients come to families counseling service with anxiety issues, not surprising considering how the pandemic raised fears while isolating people from the support systems we all should be able to rely on, especially during crisis. In those rough times, we have only continued with inflation and other harsh economic factors that are affecting employment, housing, transportation, and food. We don't know what next year will look like, but one thing is for certain, societal issues won't improve, Ward warned. Unless the economy improves, there is a looming disaster waiting to happen. And so, they were, so we have another person, the executive director of Kane County Health Department, whose name is Michael Isaacson. And he said that he declared behavioral health my top priority. More people are struggling, younger and younger children are experiencing problems, and we are seeing more acute, serious issues. And they also were talking about staffing and they said, or Michael said, if we want to keep people from leaving for the more private practices, we have to pay competitive benefits, said Ward. Just kidding, it was Ward. And this is a priority for us because staff turnover is hard on patients who lose trust when we have to start over. And also $3 million in county grant money was awarded to a partnership of what Isaacson describes as the safety net providers for mental health and substance abuse. Those include Family Counseling Service, Mutual Ground, Association for Individual Development, Tri-City Family Services, Family Service Association of Elgin, and Eckers Center for Behavioral Health. So, I mean, they have a partnership of $3 million. I don't think that means that each organization is going to get $3 million, but I think it's just like a fun and they get,
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of the time there's the grant and the grant value, and then it's divided amongst a bunch of different organizations. So there's always definitely a lot of benefit to the community for these grants.
Yep. And alrighty. So good morning, Tracy Durian, and good morning, Daniel Barrero. How are you guys doing? It's 8:30, and let us know how you guys are doing in the chat. Let us know if you have any questions, any comments. What do you guys think about this mental health crisis going on with staffing, all of that stuff? But yeah, what do you think about the staffing though? Because like they were saying, the high turnover, and now, and remember, we have that waiting list, and so what are your thoughts on that?
I think especially with the amount of staffing, I think that's an issue that we're seeing across a lot of different industries, and especially if we look on the east side, they've been affected by this too, where the Phillips Park Aquatic Center has not opened this summer, which I was very sorry to hear about, because I worked for them in 21, I think.
Okay.
So it was last year. I worked for them over the summertime. So I do think it is it's one of those things where we're seeing this across a lot of different industries, and it's not just healthcare. It is community services, like healthcare, as well as, just regular cashiers to business managers. There's a lot of
everywhere
of different areas that are suffering from a lack of employees, or so I think there's not one size fits all solution. I think there's a lot of different things to be done, and we are already doing some of these in trying to have better workforce development programs, and for these specific industries. So I think that's really great. I know there's a lot of great programs and initiatives, especially along with in the schools, where they are trying to help with social workers, with therapists. There's a lot of really good programs for students who are interested in getting into social work.
Definitely.
And
I think it's more than just like offering competitive benefits. I think it's also like the work culture. And if it's like a safe environment, if the employees are getting along with each other, if it's positive and not really, a workplace where there's like a lot of gossip or any of that. So I think we also need to look at that and just, take into consideration the work culture. But Gabriel, you have some news about the Kane-Kendall counties with the Safety Act.
Yes, I do. And I think was the Safety Act that goes into effect this January, if I remember right. Let's see. It says the King County Justice officials said they are pleased with the new clarity under revisions to the statewide Safety Act approved recently, but they are still expecting January 1st to be a confusing and problematic day as they make the first steps to eliminate cash bail in accordance with state law. So I think that's interesting. They do anticipate some perhaps confusion or issues with the implementation. But I think that, do you think that stands for most new laws or
Definitely, there should always, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I feel like like this is they're just clearing up maybe some of the confusion surrounding the Safety Act. And again, I think that stands for a lot of different
initiatives and
initiatives
stuff like
they
that.
do. There's always always doing the due diligence, and then sometimes in practice they find, oh, maybe this doesn't work, and they change that. Meanwhile, in Kendall County, State's Attorney Eric Weiss said he is moving forward with litigation that includes a bipartisan group of 62 Illinois state's attorneys who have filed to overturn the act. Weiss said a hearing will be held in Kankakee County on December 20th, with the ruling expected on the 28th. The recently approved trailer bill marks the third time lawmakers have approved amendments to the policy since J.B. Pritzker signed it into law in early 2021. Proponents of the bill say it is designed to rectify long-standing inequities in the criminal justice system, including the practice of keeping defendants in jail before trial only because they can't afford to make bail. Opponents have said the law needed clarification and allowed violent people to be loose on the streets. Recent changes have expanded the list of felonies for which defendants can be detained if the state can show they are a danger to the public. Weiss said, while the trailer bill is better than what it was, it's still not where it needs to be. Weiss said a large concern for him is the lack of judicial discretion to hold people who commit certain offenses and the limit on how long they can be held. Yeah, have you read the Safety Act? Because I have not been able to.
I haven't either.
To read that. Okay, so I'd be very interested to see to read the language regarding the Safety Act, because I know in some cases, like, a lot of people were like, well, hey, this is they give you their interpretation of what it means, but I know, like, a lot of the time the language around it is fairly clear on what is allowed and what is not allowed. So, but again, I haven't read this, so if any of our listeners who are here, if you know more about this or have or read more about the Safety Act, then please put it in the chat. It's tough, especially when the Supreme Court has moved to have cases be heard quicker, Weiss said. The ability to hold someone for trial is important under the right circumstances. King County was one of the 3 courts in Illinois chosen to pilot the bill for the last 6 months, which King County State's Attorney Jamie Moser said has helped them get ahead of the curve. However, she still plans to come into the courthouse on New Year's Day, a Sunday, to see what she expects will be a confusing and problematic day that we'll learn from and get better at as we go through it. Moser said in the next few weeks they are focusing on redoing some of the forms to be used based on changes to the Safety Act and doing run-throughs to make sure the correct people are in place to implement the new measures. I'm trying to hire many people to deal with all of this, and we're not getting the greatest response, so that it's been difficult, Moser said, emphasizing she's looking to hire additional assistant state's attorneys, advocates, IT support, and support staff, because the county has to staff a whole new courtroom for condition of release hearings in the mornings and detention hearings in the afternoon due to the act. Moser said she expects to see several detention hearings throughout the day, prompting the need for extra staff. The pilot program showed we really need staffing to make this successful, Moser said. The resources we have now are not enough to make this what it's supposed to be. We've been advocating for delay in the implementation along with funding to be provided by the state. The amendment provided funding for the Public Defender's Office, but not for anyone else in this process, so we're just trying to make the best of it at this point. With little response to the job postings, Moser said the burden is falling on current staff members. She is worried they will lose staff because of the workload and also because they're unable to compensate the workers as they should. Leading up to next month, Weiss said King County is focusing on making sure law enforcement officials are trained on new protocols. He said they're preparing to see more cases filed concerning those who are out on bond or those who will be released pre-trial. King County Sheriff Ron Haynes said his office is already positioned with body cameras, enhanced training, and policies that meet the Act's requirements. I'm pleased with the criminal law clarifications in the latest trailer bill and view that the new law is prospective, meaning that jail doors will not just swing open on January 1st, Haynes said.
Wow.
Wow, that's...
So, I mean, we're, again, talking about staffing, and like you said, it's across the board. People are struggling with staffing, and to really have this safety act, prosper and be good and have good results, then they need staffing. But that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, I think that's you're right. Like, the staffing is such a big issue. So, finding more people who are working on this is quite important, because it does seem like there will be an increased burden, according to State's Attorney Jamie Mosser, but I do think it seems like it will be really interesting to see how this plays out in 2021 or 2023 when the act takes
Initiates,
effect.
yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. Daniel Barrero says family counseling services and Mutual Ground have been providing needed services for decades. Hats off to their boards and staff. Yes. Michelle Gum says Michael is spot on. This is a priority for me as a county board member to pay those who provide the residents of Kane services what they deserve and required to stay. Kane County residents identified mental health as their number one concern. I will do everything I can to address this issue. I wish I could be there today to spew all the information I have in my brain. It starts with the conversations, even if they are hard. This Thursday, I will be speaking at Maine Baptist at 6 p.m. about our social well-being. I will be sharing my story. Stop on down. So Michelle will be presenting this Thursday at Maine Baptist at 6 p.m. for social well-being. So
That's cool.
Cool beans. And then go ahead and I don't see those. So go ahead and read those.
The time is now 8:41. Michelle Gums says State's Attorney Mosser will be doing a presentation on the Safety Act amendment at the King County Legislative Committee on December 21st at 10 a.m. It'll be a YouTube live or in person at 719 South Batavia Avenue in Geneva. So thank you, Michelle, for posting that. I think we should, anyone who's able to make it, please attend, because I think it will be great to learn more about what the Safety Act entails and what it means, because I think the purpose of the act, I believe, is to help solve a lot of inequities that have been in the criminal justice system regarding bail, and specifically cash bail, because I know, some people who have committed very serious crimes are able to get out because they have the money to do so, whereas others who have committed the same crime in a similar situation are not, due to their personal financial situations. So how do you feel about that? What do you think?
No, definitely. If you guys have the chance to attend this meeting, definitely to learn more about, I'll probably be tuning in just to also be, if this information might be useful for, just to share with my network. And so it's,
Yeah.
We should definitely try to do that for anything that, can later on help us out or help out our community and stuff like that. So
yeah, definitely learn more.
So it's 8:42, and Gabriel, go ahead and take us to a commercial with local news.
So we have a lot of exciting things that are coming up. Thursday, December 22nd from 6 to 7 p.m., Good Morning Aurora will host a special broadcast with our partners of King County Government and Law Enforcement. Join online as King County State's Attorney Jamie Mosser reviews her first 2 years in office and discusses plans, initiatives, and what to expect for the next 2 years. This will be live on our Facebook page and will be an enlightening conversation. Tune in. This online event is free and open to the public. And Thursday, December 15th, so I believe that's this Thursday, from 6 to 10 p.m., the King County Democratic Woman will be holding a great holiday party at Enticing Cuisine, located at 1117 North Washington Avenue in Batavia. It will be great food and fellowship just in time for the holidays. And the Neighbor Project and Everlasting Word Church have teamed up for a senior clothing drive going on now until the end of the year. New or gently used items are very much appreciated. See the flyer for more specifics, and I believe we posted that or call 630-906-1392. Again, that number is 630-906-1392 with any questions. Both locations of 32 South Broadway Avenue and 22 North Highland Avenue can receive items. Thank you.
Alrighty. So it's 8:44, and you are tuning in to the first daily news podcast of the second largest city of Illinois. Good morning, Aurora, and we are happy to be here today with all of you, even if Curtis is not here. And
Yep.
so we took on this, task, this challenge, and Gabriel, I think we're a great team. So let's keep it up. But anyways, we do have other news. And the holidays are coming up. So what do you have planned for the holidays, Gabriel?
I am planning on hanging out with my friends.
Good morning, Norma.
Got a couple things planned to go hang out, and then just really relaxing and focusing on my mental health and the mindfulness. So that'll be my focus for Christmas time and winter break and in general. I mean, I'm very happy to be off. I will be trying to stay away from work and business, but I think that'll be a little hard. How about you? What are your plans
and
for
Gabriel,
Christmas?
this is your last year of high school?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So this is your last winter break. But in college, you get almost a month too. So
you do.
Yeah, so it's good.
So,
so it won't be too of a shock.
Yeah.
Not to have a break, but yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I'll be going back to my parents' home in North Carolina, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'm leaving next Friday, and so I'm pretty excited. I feel like once I already have the flight booked and all of that, I just want to go there. So sometimes my mind is not even here anymore, and I'm just can it be just next Friday, please?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the holidays, it's a great time to be with friends and family and just have a great time, even if it's by yourself. Just, take a breather, relax, watch your favorite movies, eat your favorite food, just have a great time. Enjoy that moment.
Oh yeah. And that's what I think my family's planning on doing. I know my mom, shouts outs to my mom. She loves watching Hallmark and stuff. So, and actually, I don't mind it. I do like Hallmark. I don't know if that's just me.
I
but
like Hallmark too.
I'll sit down with my mom, and we'll watch a Hallmark movie and eat popcorn or whatever. And so that's so fun. I don't know. I enjoy that. Do you have a favorite memory or thing of Christmas while growing up?
A Christmas moment?
Yeah, a Christmas magic. Yeah.
I think it was a few years ago. My mom's dad, my grandpa, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and they had given him 6 to 9 months for and but he lived through a longer period for a year and a half. But that last Christmas, I will always remember that last Christmas because, I mean, we're a very, just a very calm family and, just doing us or whatever. But that Christmas, everyone was having a great time. We were playing loteria. We were laughing. It was a very beautiful moment, and I'm really glad that I kept that memory because I mean now it's just it's pretty different when we have gatherings just because my grandpa passed away and all of that. I really do cherish that memory that I have of that last Christmas with my family. We were just so happy.
That's amazing. I think it's in the times of our greatest trials that we find the greatest joy sometimes, and that seems what it was like for that Christmas. That was I love those those little Christmas miracles almost or magic. There's something to this season where I feel like we don't give it credit enough. I don't know, I remember growing up Christmas time was almost always my favorite time of year. Even
Mhm.
today, I
Yeah,
love Christmas. I
too.
mean, I listen to Christmas music year round. What are you talking about? You know, like I'm one of those people. But I do really love the part where there's a focus
Mhm.
on spending time with family and
Mhm.
friends and the people you're grateful for. So I love that part about
Me too.
Christmas.
I love this time of
Yeah.
year. Like, I just love it. But we do have some news about, the holidays, and it's the Aurora Church aims to broaden perspectives during Christmas season. It's 8:49, y'all. And so a celebration of worldwide Christmas traditions was the focus of a special offering at New England Congregational Church in Aurora on Sunday, beginning at 11 a.m. in the church's narthex. What is a narthex? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I'm not sure. If any of our listeners know what that is, please post it in the chat.
Yeah.
We're
Those who attended the 10
We're not
a.m. service,
sure.
as well as community members at large, were able to view a collection of nativity sets by artists reflecting non-European traditions, as well as sample foods from various locations from around the world. This event was sponsored by a church committee known as Students of the Beloved Community. And the Reverend Brendan Perrine, a senior minister at New England Congregational Church, said the newly formed Social and Racial Justice Committee is trying to think of ways we might broaden our visual presentation during the Christmas season, particularly of the Nativity story. We had this idea of basically hosting an exhibit of nativity scenes and artwork from around the world that portray the Holy Family in a different light than what people are used to seeing at home. We're serving treats from other cultures as well. And let's see. There is a comment about a mom and her daughter that went to see this beautiful scenery. And Beth Kopek of Oswego and her daughter Olivia of 14 said they knew about the program before coming to New England Congregational Church Sunday and were excited about it. I did learn some new things and we enjoyed viewing other cultures, Beth said. I also tried a few different fruits like baklava, which I never had before. It was delicious.
Baklava is really good.
Really?
I went to Saint Athanasios church for the Greek fest
Okay.
that they do every year, and we had some baklava. That is really good. I don't know how they make it, but however they make it, that's some good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
She said that I had never tasted before. It was delicious. I'm definitely going to bring some of these elements into my own house. I'm inspired to do so. I really like it. It gives like a new perspective on new traditions, and I also like seeing all the different art pieces, especially how it all comes together and how everyone interprets the same event in a different way, she said. So beautiful, beautiful event program that the New England Congregational Church is having. So different nativity sets of different, countries around the world. So I think that is awesome. I think it definitely does bring a different perspective because, like they said, people around the world may celebrate the same celebration, holiday, but in their own way.
Yeah, and I think that all goes back to I think we were having this conversation about
Thanksgiving.
It was Thanksgiving and also the Nutcracker too.
Oh, yes,
just
yes.
about how a lot of these things are. We always think about it as just this holiday the way we've experienced it, but we forget that there's well over 100 countries in the world, almost 200, I believe, and there's countless cultures and communities within those countries as well.
Yes.
So I think it's really neat that the New England Congregational Church is having this exhibit and this experience for people to learn more about other cultures and groups of people that they may not normally hear about or learn about. So I think that's a really great opportunity to learn more about other Christmas traditions and maybe incorporate some into your own holiday traditions.
Definitely. And if you guys haven't checked out the New England Congregational Church, it's really beautiful inside.
Yeah. The time is now 8:54. Wow, it's
8:54.
Wow.
Awesome. Good morning, Gloria Jurado, who is saying good morning to you, Aurora. I hope you will have a blessed day today. Amen. Also, let's see. Jennifer Ryan Mayton, good morning. She said the narthex is the entryway to the church. Tracy also said it's like the front room area. At least that's how it is at ours.
Okay. See, you learned something new. I've never heard of a narthex, but okay, so that's the entryway. Okay, so that's
Cool beans. I learned a new word.
you know what? That's like the word of the day. Well,
Yes, you guys are awesome. Now we have a word of the day.
we do. I don't think we've done that in a while. We haven't had a word of the day for a couple weeks now. So
all right, so that is the word of the day. Awesome. And then Michelle Gum says, "Have a wonderful day, A-Town. Off to a meeting. Love you all." Have a great meeting, Michelle, and thank you for tuning in. Well, it's 8:55 and oh my goodness, guys, we did it. I think we landed the plane safely and carefully. And it was awesome just being here with all of you and really taking on this, like I said, this
plane
this day, this morning. And honestly, it's like I think I know why Curtis likes being the Good Morning Aurora host, because it gives you like some type of rush of like,
oh yeah,
this is awesome. Like we are honestly very grateful for all of the listeners and the subscribers, everyone who has always supported us from day one. I mean, Curtis has done such a great work, and he's put in so much work, and I think it's paying off. And just by seeing all of you guys always tuning in and just supporting what we do, our initiatives and stuff like that. So thank you all. And I'm gonna give Gabriel the message, the positive message of the day, but I just want all of you to have a great weekend, and see you tomorrow for Buenos Dias, Aurora.
Thank you. And again, I can only echo Monica's words and comments, but this is one of the first days where we have been kind of flying the plane without Curtis. Mm-hmm. It's been an experience. I'm sure you noticed some of our missteps a little bit. We did have some gremlins. Yes. I don't know if anyone's watched the show, but it is very creepy for an 11-year. I watched that when I was like 10 or 11. It was really creepy. But we did have some gremlins in our stuff, in our equipment. Mm-hmm. But we got it all figured out, and we were live today. We had the camera working and everything. So I feel like we flew the plane and landed it, hopefully. And yes. We're so grateful to Curtis. Shout outs to him for training us. And I think Casey Cuevas says gracias, Jume, and Norma Peterson said the pilot taught you well. And yes. Yes, definitely. We definitely agree with that. The pilot did teach us well. So have a positive day, and we will be catching you tomorrow for an episode of Buenos Dias, Aurora. And
remember, guys, take care of yourself and each other. Bye, Aurora.